What's going on? It's Hunter again. Welcome to this one. Exactly what I wanted to go ahead and here is just talk about the real reason you're probably stuck at less than 50K a month. And it's probably not what you think. And I do want to go in detail. This probably won't be a long one. Hopefully less than like 7 minutes, if that. But essentially, what I want to do is just start with a little bit of a story. We have talked to a lot of architects and interior designers over the course of like month on month, day by day. We're speaking to about like 11 or 12 per month. Per day. It's crazy. And the thing that happens is like most architects and people, when you're running a business, you almost kind of get to a point where you're so stuck in your own day to day, in your own like bubble, that you never really get a third party professional look into what the metrics and data are showing up in your business, or the problems or constraints you're not realizing are there because you are so stuck at like what's normal. And this might not apply to you, but for those it does, you might get to think, you might understand exactly what I'm saying. But there's a lot of specifically architects that make less than $50,000 a month with their firm. And the one thing that they're saying is that they either have a lot of time or no time. There's really no happy medium. As in a lot of time they're waking up at 6 a.m., going to bed at 11, if that. And revenue is starting to climb from that 0 point to wherever you're at today. And it's just starting to stall. Not that it's like stopping, there's still momentum being made, but it's not the momentum in the direction of growth, in the direction of improvement, in the direction of more income, more revenue, more fees. And the reason that is because starting this business off the ground, a lot of firms rely on referrals and getting business from other people having conversations about yourself, things of that nature. And that's totally fine. But at some point, you get to a level where it's either you're not dealing with the type of clientele you want, you're getting more referrals of the same type of clientele you don't want, and it's not as in your control as you'd wish it be. Right, at some point referrals get to a point where there's not really much growth coming from it, and you can't just rub a magic lamp and then boom, we have more referrals. It's much more complicated than that. And so the reason that I want to go ahead and go through here is that, starting with the story, we had a guy named John, and he works about 60 hours plus that. He makes over $760,000 in fees per month. Actually, no, I think it's per year. Per year, 760,000, just in personal income. He's a one-man band, and he's just now hiring. Can you believe that? Like, this guy has gone to this level by himself. And the reason is not what you think. It's not that he is a much better designer. It's not that he's, some type of famous celebrity. He's a he is a normal dude out in Florida that is absolutely crushing it all by himself. And he is now considering hiring someone, getting someone under his belt. And it's just crazy to think to that level how simple things can be given you focus on the right thing. So I just want to go and show you exactly what he did to get to his level, and exactly what we're doing to help him get to the next level. Right. So if this is you, right, you're making about anything less than $50,000 per month in fees by yourself. You're working from 6 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. at night, Monday through Friday, and even weekends, you're probably squeezing in a little bit of work here and there. Right. And revenue is just stalling. Like, we aren't really growing, but we aren't really sinking either. Right. And typically that's due to something like, you tolerate, typically, what we've seen from a high viewpoint, especially as an agency. You tolerate, you allow yourself to take on any project at any level, no matter the price point. Now, at some points, you might have like a 10-foot pole you're trying to keep people away and stuff, and then you'll increase your prices, hoping that pushes away your current customers. But then you find your customers are just going to take it anyways. And so, yeah, you're making more money, but you're still dealing with people and clients and projects that you actually don't want at all whatsoever. And the thing is that typically, in many cases, most firms, that is a lot of volume. You'll be surprised. I remember speaking with one firm who is doing $100,000 a month in fees. So they're making about almost upwards of 1.2 million a year, right, in fees. But they also sell like over 100 units per month. That means they're doing really, really, really tiny projects, and they do a lot of volume of that. And there's only two ways to grow a business. One, you either get more customers or you make your customers worth more. And so our job as an agency is not only to get more customers, yes, but make them worth more. We don't want our lives to be so chaotic where we have 100 different clients we're trying to manage. Why not just go for the one, like the 5 to 10 that really just hit it out of the park for us, create that revenue? All right. So essentially, you are tolerating. And again, as business owners, all the accountability as to the results that you're having within your business always comes back to you. Doesn't matter where the economy is at, doesn't matter where the year is, the this or that. It is still your absolute responsibility to put the business in your hands, and you have to make the decisions to help your business and your income get off the ground. Now, obviously, if you're in this position, you're not dying broke, all right? You're not like absolutely in the trenches, but you're not where you want to be either. And so, I mean, it's your choice to weigh as like where you want to go forward from here. But typically, if you're any fan of growth, if you're ever a fan about making more money in your ambitions in that direction, this is probably going to resonate with you, right? So you're tolerating and allowing yourself to take on any project at any level, right? Your time is spent in every other place but getting more business. You're spent designing, you're spent communicating, you're spent sending invoices, things of that nature. And you have new standards, right? You're like, I no longer want to deal with X, but you also at the same time have no new system. So you're pretty much just have old system that produce old results with new standards. Do you see the disconnect there? How there is probably a gap starting to form. Okay. The biggest thing is in conclusion, I'm just going to get straight to the point. It's leverage. You lack leverage. You lack being able to pull the smallest lever and get the most upside. And that's exactly what is missing for a lot of firms is they just lack leverage. How do you think John's able to, and John sounds such a generic name, but truly his name is John out in Florida. And how do you think he is able to do 760,000 years by himself? Considering he's a one-man band, has the same 24 hours in a day, but the one thing that he's doing the most right now is working like a dog, day and night. All right. He is working absolutely ham, 60-hour plus weeks. And ideally, that's the kind of problem we're trying to solve now. Is like he has no time to put anywhere else in the business but into fulfillment and communications, etc. Nothing in terms of growing the business. And his next step right now is to make a hire. That's his first, that he is the bottleneck, right? And this might resonate with guys like this might resonate with you, being that you are the biggest bottleneck in the business. You replace yourself with someone either better or worse, and you have to train them or non-train them. Point is that you are the biggest bottleneck. You solve that problem, then there starts to leave this potential opportunity gap where now that you've handed off percentage of your time in business to someone else for them to take care of, that leaves more opportunity for more money and more growth to be made, which most people don't have, especially at this level, because they have so much going on, are extremely busy all the time, and therefore they have no leverage, right? There's no leverage they can pull because they're already doing everything else but getting more business, right? So in conclusion, the solution is that you're going to have to need something, a system, some form of infrastructure that's going to allow you to generate projects or client with high income. If you were to think about your qualified client, it's like it's either we either get referrals, someone else talks about you, or you run some marketing systems in the background, or you have some people that go out and you go on your behalf, or you go on dinner dates, you go to events, stuff of that nature. But you're going to have to always come back to a system, whether it's this, whether it's something else, that is generating your qualified clients on demand and consistently and reliably. And so ideally what we're trying to do here as one of the founders of Remax is we're trying to put infrastructure and systems in place in firms that's going to allow them to generate clientele that they're not currently generating right now, especially with the bottlenecks in terms of time, money, and resources. Okay. So just to kind of walk through this just a bit, this is how we solve that problem and just for example, like this is all automated. And yes, there is some human connection, but this is a connection from your side. Either way, you'll be able to understand how this all works and like how we're solving this problem. So if we need to solve the problem of leverage, right, we need to pull the tiniest lever and get the most upside. But again, we don't have time. We have money, but we don't have time, and we don't have any knowledge or expertise when it comes to how to get new business, especially in today's age, and what platforms to do it through, and what systems go behind that, the integrations, the automations, the AI involved, etc. You've never been taught how to do good marketing when you're in architecture school. And so therefore a lot of architects struggle to market themselves. Therefore they rely on the referrals. They rely on the newspapers that they get themselves involved with, stuff of that nature. Okay. One of the solutions that we offer and that we pretty much build out from A to Z. Now this isn't a pitch. This is the point where I'm just educating you. You should at least at this point know exactly how the system works and could probably, but in your head, piece together how you could probably do this yourself. Because there's no holding back here. It is literally screenshot and detail for detail about what we exactly do. Just to give you some examples, we use personalized ads. So we pay for a spot in the market. Okay, we are paying to push our offer in front of your ideal client. If you've not seen my other videos, I do invite you to go check them out because they actually do go very, very in depth in terms of the marketing strategy. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, and I don't know if this resonates with you guys, but most people don't know they need architects or anything until they speak with a builder, or that information just comes to them from God, from some divine source. Okay. And so the point is, if that resonates with you, then why are we looking at Google when most people are not searching up, hey, architect near me? And if they are, they're also doing that for 10 other people. And on Google, they're seeing 10 other companies. And when they come back to you, they're like, hey, what is your price? I have 9 other bids. Okay. Now, obviously, that's an extreme. Google obviously works, unless people wouldn't use it. It's still a great platform. And vice versa, there's other things out there that will absolutely work. But we're using Facebook ads just because we've tried and tested everything. We find that getting our messages in front of the right avatar at the right time, just through the right platform, helps serve us better than anything else. And so one of the ways that we do that is we use personalized ads. A lot of agencies will use generic stuff that just says like, hey, are you looking for an architect? But then again, majority of the market is not looking for an architect. They don't even know you're non-existent in their realm of thought. So we have to put ourselves in their realm of thought. So that's why we take more of a push approach versus an attracting approach, which is more of a Google thing. Facebook's more of a push approach. We are pushing our message to people. Okay. Now, personalized ads, you can kind of get an example here. 72% of homeowners regret building without an architect. I'll explain. The builder can handle the design. We don't need an architect. This is a belief that needs to be broken. And so we have videos that help people just kind of resonate with that. And they actually look very, very high quality for what they are. Yeah. Then when people click on this and they kind of resonate with the message and they go into the form, what they're going to do is they're going to go to our double qualification system, right? So what they're going to do, if they have a budget under 500K, this is probably the biggest disqualification question we have. The biggest thing that's happening here is that it's going to DQ them, but not in the way that you think. It's not going to DQ them and then take them off the platform. That's not going to be good. When they DQ, they're actually going to go to a schedule place where they're going to schedule with us. And we are going to be the ones speaking with the DQ, because most times people will they have under 500K for their budget, but then they have over 100,000 of that, dedicated to fees or dedicated to permitting pre-development, or they have an under 500K budget, and it's just not true. They will lie because they want to feel safe in the funnel that they're in. They don't want to, show all their cards. And this is very typical with some types of people, right? So we don't want to leave anybody hanging too soon, right? So we want to give them the opportunity. But again, this is not information going to Facebook. It's not pixeled, meaning that Facebook is not picking that data up. It's only us. All right. But people that are qualified, we all absolutely send that data to Facebook. Facebook takes care of it and optimize for more of those types of people. But when people click, 1.1 to 2 million, and they go through our process, they go to a landing page where they give us some more details. And typically people who go through this process by the end do book. And so they have the calendar where they can book. And then what happens is that we need to keep them off the Facebook platform. And again, if you haven't seen my other videos about why that's important, I absolutely invite you to do that, because it's probably going to be the biggest teller on how to get good results within a market like this, especially using Facebook and Meta, Instagram to run ads to get high qualified architectural clients and leads. Okay. So check those videos out when you do have the time after this one. And then just to talk about the infrastructure, when someone comes into the pipeline and comes into our CRM after being qualified and vetted just through the systems alone, we have AI agents. This is not ChatGPT. This is not a very enthusiastic, like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. Thanks for coming into our funnel. How's your day going? Or, hey, this is that. Do you remember opting in for this? Nothing enthusiastic. The whole point of the bot, it's literally built custom from the ground up to work with architectural leads. We're actually very close to the founders. And so we've built this from the ground up to be very, very in touch and almost very, very human-like. It will misspell things on purpose. And it will still be professional. It will still be in context. And if someone messages us today and then they ghost for the next 365 days, the AI will still remember exactly what they spoke in the beginning and reference early conversations. It's a beautiful, and it understands the human nuances that ChatGPT and other AIs don't. And that's what makes us different. And so when we can get in front of people and message them just like a bot, you can see here how it kind of breaks the messages down. Do you have any time over here for text? The AI bot will go in there, qualify through text. If they are unqualified, it will absolutely queue them. If it absolutely is qualified through messages, which people may feel more safe in, well, they get them. The AI will book them onto the counter automatically. Now, the next piece in this is that if the AI reaches out, we still need human connection. We still need them to reach out to a human. And so we have our own internal sales team that will go ahead and call these leads immediately as they come through and go ahead and qualify and vet. And the outcome of all of this is just you have serious prospects. They're very high intent. They already know they're expecting a call from you. They know that you're an architectural firm. They have in-depth qualifications, timeline, budget, commitment. They're already pre-approved in some way. People have with reasonable times. They're not looking to get something done the next 36 months. They're looking to get pre-development started today. All right. Pre-development, not like hitting the shovel in the ground, but pre-development done today. Right. They already know you're the guy from Facebook. They're booking calls in your calendar. And typically, if we optimize correctly, we're about, around that $1 million project, more or less, around, 800K at the lowest to, everything above that at the highest. Right. So this is the exact system that helps architectural firms, especially less than 50K a month, solve exactly this problem, is that this lack of leverage. You are trying to pull the longest lever to get the shortest result versus pulling the smallest lever, the easiest thing to get the biggest result. And that's exactly what we do here at RevMax. And if you're interested in exactly how we can help you guys scale up your firm using these types of systems that I just walked through here, or even if you're just curious about having a conversation, do you even think this is for you? Do you even think the system can even help you at all whatsoever? Go ahead, book a call in the description. There's a link down there. You can talk with me or my team. And from there, we'll just see if there's a best fit. If not, no worries. If yes, well, then at that point, you can help make whatever decision you feel is best once you have all the information. Then for now, ciao.